ladies and gentlemen, how's it going? It's your boy MegaLugia here, aka The Chosen One, and today we're going to be looking at a series of many competitive guides on the channel for Sun and Moon, this time focusing around the water starter PRIMARINA. We'll be looking at movesets, typings, damage calcs, team options, and more. Now in these beginning stages of the meta, these movesets are going to be works in progress, so take these as version 1.0, really solid but will have some room for improvement, so if there's anything you want to add, make sure to let me know down below, subscribe for more Sun and Moon, and without further ado, let's get into it. So let's take a look at the basics for PRIMARINA. So it is a water fairy type, which first of all is one of the best offensive typings and defensive typings in the game, having very few switch-ins and can eat up hits for days. Having said that, water fairy is weak to electric, grass, and poison. It loses the steel type weakness due to the water typing, and offensively its dual stabs are effective against fire, ground, rock, fighting, dark, and dragon. God damn. That is some impressive coverage and already sets the tone for PRIMARINA being a powerhouse of a Pokemon. Next, we take a look at the stats. It is a starter, which means the stats total at 530, so they split up evenly into 80 HP, 74 attack, 74 defense, 126 special attack, 116 special defense, and 60 speed. So everything is looking really solid until you see that 60 base speed. With a little more speed, PRIMARINA could be an incredible offensive threat. However, it still is a really hard-hitting Pokemon that is capable of taking hits, like a combination of both Sylveon and Milotic. Plus, water and fairy type moves coming off that special attack set is very hard to switch into unless your name is Mega Venusaur. Moving on to its ability, it has Torrent, which increases the power of water type moves by 50% when at 1/3 HP or less, but the real story comes from its hidden ability, a brand new one called Liquid Voice. This is basically a water type version of Pixelate or Aerialate, making normal type moves water, as well as gaining a 1.2, not 1.3, it has been nerfed this generation, damage boost. And yes, it does learn Hyper Voice. So one thing to consider this generation is that we do have Z moves, and if you aren't familiar with them, they're basically extremely powerful moves that can only be used once per battle by a Pokemon. They also take up an item slot, so do keep that in mind when team building. Certain Pokemon also have exclusive Z moves, as is the case with PRIMARINA, who has a move called Oceanic Operetta. Now that move is 195 base power, special, and water type. So other than this move being extremely powerful, it does have its limitations like a one-time use and taking up an item slot. And for all the upcoming movesets, you can decide if you want to swap things around and include its Z move, as it is very experimental right now with a new mechanic. So now for an overview of this Pokemon, I'm feeling it to be versatile in Pokemon in terms of both usage in doubles, aka VGC, and singles. Liquid Voice plus Hyper Voice is going to be a really powerful spread move in doubles, as well as hitting really hard in singles like we've seen with Sylveon for example. This is especially true because of its signature move Sparkling Aria, which is 90 base power, special water type with a secondary effect that heals the burn of Pokemon it hits. So as well as providing offensive pressure, it is also good to heal up an ally in doubles. It is also a great check to a prominent threat throughout all the generations, being Weavile, resisting both stabs and knocking it out straight up with a Moonblast. It also has great coverage with Ice Beam, Energy Ball, Shadow Ball, Psychic, as well as more double support like Encore, Parashong, Reflect, and Light Screen. So now for a potential moveset, the first one is going to be a fully offensive set, again very similar to how we've seen Sylveon use early on in X and Y. It's going to be rocking the Mighty Choice Specs or a Life Orb if you prefer to switch up your moves, with Hyper Voice boosted by Liquid Voice if it is released. However, you can use Hydro Pump instead, Moonblast, Scald because it does have that chance to burn, and Psychic. The EV spread allows for max offensive power and enough speed to outspeed a defensive Mega Venusaur that takes over 60% from Psychic. You could include HP Fire in there as well for mons like Ferrothorn instead of Hydro Pump as well. These combinations of move hit the whole tier extremely hard, but unfortunately can become revenge kill because of its low speed, so you will have to use it wisely. Next up, we have a moveset for doubles. PRIMARINA will kind of fall into a 4 move slot syndrome, but here nonetheless a moveset could be Sparkling Aria, Dazzling Gleam, Reflect, or Light Screen, and then either Scald, Hyper Voice, or even Protect. The EV spread is max HP, 116 defense, 64 special attack, 76 special defense with a bold nature. Very specific, I know, but you can obviously just go with a more standard spread of max once the meta is more established, but I just base this off some common threats that we see in VGC, so you're not too KO'd by Landorus' Earthquake or Rotom's Volt Switch. Trick Room support would work really well here as well, since PRIMARINA is so slow, very similar to the capabilities that Sylveon has. And the final set is going to be a defensive spread holding the leftovers with max HP, 128 defense, and 128 in speed with a bold nature. That speed allows you to be faster than a bulky Mega Scizor and not be too KO'd by a bullet punch after leftovers, with Scald or Hyper Voice doing around 40%. This is also a great answer to Weavile, taking only 36% max from a banded Weavile's knockoff. Moves are Moonblast, Scald or Hyper Voice, Rest, and Sleep Talk to allow you to stick around on the field for as much as possible. Now for some quick damage calcs. A max special attack Hyper Voice with a Life Orb is a 2-hit KO versus specially defensive Skarmory, a chance to Oko Tyranitar after Stealth Rocks, and more importantly, 2-hit KOs Clefable. Hidden Power Fire also has a 50% chance to Oko Ferrothorn and does 85% minimum to a max Spadef Mega Scizor. A max special attack Oceanic Operetta, remember with no item, Oko's a max specially defensive Skarmory after Rocks, almost 50% to a Ferrothorn and 80% minimum to a specially defensive Mega Scizor. Now for some good team options as well, you'll be needing something to handle Mega Venusaur as well as a Moongus, so pairing it up with Tornadus is a good idea, as well as a good ground type like Excadrill to negate the electric weakness and the steel typing for a poison immunity. Also Heal Bell support or Status Absorber would be really nice so Celebi actually fits in. It can also Nasty Plot Baton Pass into Primarina and really put in the finest of work. A fast setup sweeper is also nice, so Megazord X fills that role nicely, combining a solid Fire Dragon and Water Fairy core. Lastly, for Primarina to really sweep, give it some Trick Room support like Reuniclus or Porygon, and that will get Primarina to put in the finest of work. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, a competitive moveset for Primarina. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. Make sure to leave a like if you did, and like I said in the beginning, this is very experimental, so if you think there's anything I should add, main thing is to go out, have some fun with these sets, and enjoy the meta. But until next time, subscribe if you're new. It has been your boy MegaLugia here checking out. Peace!